Hey guys, it's Miss Keenum. Today we're going to talk about 2D and 3D shapes and the difference between the two. So some of our common 2D shapes, which most people are familiar with, are square, circle, triangle, rectangle, and trapezoid. There's more 2D shapes, but these are the basic ones that we're going to work with today. So 2D shapes are flat shapes. As you can see, I have cut out from a piece of paper a square. So when you look at this square, it's flat. There's no width to it. There's no dimension to it. It's just a flat sheet of paper. So this is our square. It has 4 equal sides. Okay, this is a rectangle. It's like a square, but see how it's different? It has one long side and one short side. So this side and this side are the same length, and then this side and this side are the same length. But once again, it's 2D because there's no width to it. There's no dimension to it. It's just a flat sheet of paper. The shape is flat. Okay, next we have the trapezoid. So the trapezoid is made up of 2 parallel sides, or 2 sides that go the same direction and they never cross. Okay, so this is my trapezoid. There's different kinds of trapezoids, but this is the basic one you're going to see. Once again, it's 2D because there's no width to it, or there's no dimension to it. It's flat. Next is our triangle. So we can have many different types of triangles. This one, it looks like it's equal pretty much on every side, or you can have one like this where the sides are different. But the main thing is it's made up of 3 sides with 3 points, okay? And it's flat. It's 2D. It's flat. This one's flat as well. No dimension, no width. It's 2D. And lastly, we have our circle. So this is our whole circle. It has no edges, no points. It's just a complete movement. And then our circle is going to be made up of what we would call the quarter circle, which it would take 4 of these red chunks to make the full circle. And then the half circle, which is the purple chunk, it would make 2 purples to make the whole circle. So this purple is a half circle, the red was a quarter circle, and then finally you're left with the blue, which is the entire circle, but it's flat. That's what we're remembering about 2D shapes. They're flat, no dimension. So we move from 2D shapes to 3D shapes. So 3D shapes are inflated shapes, or I've heard them described as puffed up shapes. But one way I like to think about it is if you have a balloon and you haven't blown it up yet, you haven't inflated it yet, it's flat. But once I blow my balloon up, it becomes inflated, or it becomes puffed up. And so essentially that's what our 3D shapes are. They have dimension. So I have a few 3D shapes here that I'm going to show you. So this one is a cylinder, okay? I don't have it listed on the PowerPoint, but this is a cylinder. Can you see it? It's a jar. It's puffed up. It has 2 circles at its end, and then it has essentially something you can think that just wraps all the way around to enclose it. But this jar is a cylinder. Next, I have a cube. So the cube is like our square, but it's inflated. It's puffed up. It has dimension. See how there's width? It doesn't matter how I hold this cube, there's width to it. There's dimension to it. And so it's made up of squares all the way around that are put together to make the cube. So it basically has 6 squares that's put together, that's inflated, and makes this cube shape. Next, I have a sphere. So the sphere is one of the easiest things that we can find lying around, but a sphere is essentially a ball. So see how this ball is the circle puffed up? You can also think of the sphere as our globe. The world is a sphere. It's just a circle that has dimension. It's puffed up, but it's not flat. See how this isn't flat? It has width to it. So this is a sphere. Let's see, I have a cone. You'll have to use a little bit of imagination on this one, but a cone's like an ice cream cone. I just don't have an ice cream cone laying around to show you. But this funnel kind of represents a cone, which is also shown on the screen. But it's going to have a flat circle as a bottom, which is this part. And then it's going to go straight up to a point at the very top. And it's kind of circled or curved all the way around. So that would be a cone. And then lastly, I have my rectangular prism, which is just like a shoebox. So see how this has dimension? That's the biggest thing about a 3D shape. It has dimension, whereas see, just my plain rectangle right here has no dimension. You see the difference between the shoebox, which is the rectangular prism? It's a rectangle with dimension, as opposed to just my flat sheet of paper, just my rectangle with no dimension. So that's the most important thing between 2D shapes and 3D shapes. 3D shapes are inflated or they're puffed up. Like I said, I like to think of it as a balloon that you blow up. Okay, so I want you to go on a scavenger hunt. When I tell you to pause the video, pause it and go see if you can find at least 2 cubes laying around your house, 3 spheres, 3 rectangular prisms, and 2 cones laying around your house. There's bonus if you can find a pyramid. I think that's going to be the hardest one to find. I don't even have one to show you. But a pyramid would be like a square bottom that comes up to a point. So you've seen the pyramids probably that they show in ancient Egypt. You see those like the sand looking type structures that look like a triangle, but it starts out with a square, so it's 3D. It has dimension all the way around. But pause the video now and see if you can find these items. Once you do, come back and restart the video with your items.